Hello, welcome to the Weather Hazard Briefing presented by National Weather Service Pocatello for Saturday, April 1st. Happy April Fool's Day. Here's what you'll see in this presentation. I wish I could say this was an April Fool on you, but this, as far as we know, it will be the truth for the opening day of April. We have another spring snowstorm that brought a first wave of some light rain and snow last night, but it will bring heavier snow and low elevation rain and very strong wind today and tonight to at least the northern half of eastern Idaho, a little bit affecting of southern Idaho. Advisories and warnings are in effect already, and the wind advisory starts up around 1300 or 1 p.m. this afternoon and goes till about 10 p.m. or 2200 tonight. This storm lessens on Sunday morning, but on Sunday night, yet another storm moves in. This one will be moving through northern Utah. It moves very slowly, and it will affect the southern half of the forecast area more than the northern. And will do over several days, probably not only Sunday night, but Monday and Tuesday at a minimum, maybe even into Wednesday. A winter storm watch has already been issued for the Bear River Mountains starting Sunday night. And we'll take a look at all of that in detail. Here's the latest satellite image. You can see just a stream of clouds coming in from the Pacific all over the entire state of Idaho, all of Oregon, all of Washington, and the northern half of Nevada. So as you can see, there's no let up in the amount of available moisture. Here's the current warnings and advisories. On the left is snow-related ones. And so in the pink, you see where a winter storm warning is in effect. So you can see it's basically our border with Montana from Oneida Pass over to Targhee Pass, and the Wyoming border down to Swan Valley. So all in the mountains. And this is mostly due to, a lot of places are getting light to moderate, especially in the western parts of this, and on the eastern parts it's more moderate to heavy snow. However, we'll be combining with some winds for some horrendous weather we expect, especially this afternoon during the overnight hours. Elsewhere, there is a winter weather advisory you can see in the central Idaho mountains, and this is for basically the upper parts of the Wood River Basin and the Stanley Basin and the Sawtooths. And then finally, not tonight or even tomorrow, but tomorrow night, that is Sunday night, there is a winter storm watch in effect for the Bear River Range down there in the southeast corner, connecting up with the state of Utah and the Wasatch. On the right, you see wind-related. So this is wind only. The left side was both wind and snowfall combining. But here it's just where wind is just a factor. And you can see entire Lemhi County is under a wind advisory. The same is true of the upper Snake River Plain and then the Arco Desert and INL property. And then there's a high wind warning in effect for the backside going into Montana of Oneida Pass. And that's because of the incredible winds we are expecting in that region tonight on the I-15 artery. So here's an overall weather risk outlook through the first 5 days of April. You can see a lot of it's front-loaded. We have a lot of stuff going on tonight with, again, a winter storm warning in place for the eastern highlands area, basically, and elsewhere the snow mixed with rain and wind in places like the southeast highlands, the Wood River, Sawtooth area, strong wind in the Snake River Plain. Again, that's mostly in the northern half of it. On Sunday, it lets up a little bit, except for the southeast highlands, where the focus will shift as that low moves through northern Utah. And you can see it should last at least through Tuesday and maybe even into Wednesday. And the heaviest snowfall should be on Sunday and Monday. And that is why we have a winter storm watch in effect for the southeast highland area. Elsewhere, still, the snow continues. There's really no let-up. These are positive chances of snow. A chance means 30% or better. The only place that maybe we'll see a slight chance threat would be the Snake Plain. You You can see on a couple days here, Monday and Wednesday, but otherwise it's snow and rain. As we get towards Wednesday, temperatures will start to finally cool with all the cloud cover and north wind that'll kick in, and we are looking for temperatures to struggle to get above freezing everywhere on Wednesday. All right, so let's look at the first 3 days in detail, starting with last night. This is where the snow fell. Again, it was mostly in the sort of the southwest half of our central Idaho mountains, and then the whole Island Park region all the way down to just north of Bear Lake. Low temperatures this morning with the cloud cover pretty mild. A lot of places did not get below freezing. All right, so this is the forecast situation for today. You can see the next storm is lining up, and you can see here this morning it will be only through Oregon. This storm here will move out of eastern Oregon, and by mid to late afternoon it should be streaming through a central portion of our area, and will continue to affect our area through 10 p.m. with the winds especially remaining very strong winds. And you can see it is a mixture of rain and snow for most locations, and that would be down here in the valley due to afternoon. It will change over to rain in a lot of locations, or a rain-snow mix. And up in the hills, it will actually peak right around the time just before the cold front passes through. So most people will see the highs either in the morning or early afternoon, and then a cool down after that, especially for the mountain regions. All right, so the snow this morning starts out, it's moving west to east, and so you can see we're starting to get heavy snow, an inch an hour in some of these locations just east of Sun Valley in the mountains, and some pretty good snowfall to the west of the Stanley Basin, the Sawtooth there. That's 6 to 8 inches in 6 hours, so that's an inch an hour that it's falling. So that's pretty strong. Elsewhere, it's starting to pick up already in northeast Idaho with 2 to 3 inches at Island Park. And then this afternoon, it continues to intensify, again, an inch an hour in these places that are colored yellow, or the warmer oranges, and I don't think we ever get to any reds. I hope not. And then even in Sun Valley, 3 to 4 inches in 6 hours. So that's a pretty good snowfall accumulation rate. A lot of this down here will be rain when you get south and west of Blackfoot. And then this evening, things start to cool off, and the precipitation is lessening, especially in the central Idaho mountains. Still going pretty good over here in the eastern highlands, all the way down to north of the Bear Lake Basin. And as you can see, it's hitting the Bear River Range pretty good too. And then after midnight tonight, it should start to let up. And this is when the winds will have let up by now, at least a little bit. But as you'll see, it's still going to be strong winds, especially in these eastern highlands. All right, so this is wind gusts. So this is peak wind, not sustained wind. But you can see it's already getting windy up in the northern end during the morning hours, and it should get even worse this afternoon. That's when the wind advisory is in effect. Wherever you see this red is where you'll definitely getting wind advisory level kind of stuff. And even here, this magenta shows some of the mountains in central Idaho mountains will be getting winds in excess of 60 miles an hour for gusts. See, it just continues into the evening. In fact, I would say it spreads out even more. And then finally, after midnight, the front has blown through, but it's still gusty and windy. I mean, these are gusts, so 35 miles an hour. Blackfoot probably means winds of 15 to 25 miles an hour with gusts to 35. Same range for Idaho Falls. That's still enough to lift snow and move it around, although there won't be a whole lot of snow accumulating down here after the front is passed. All right, so this is the strongest gust expected in the 24 hours of today or tonight. So this is the peak wind you can expect, So if you want to pause that and take a look at your own location, you can see Oneida Pass should be gusting to 40 at its peak. Island Park area gusting to 40. All right, this is a 24-hour snow total for today and tonight, and you can see why there are winter weather advisories and winter storm warnings in effect. Especially here in Central Idaho Mountains, it's pretty good. Galena Summit, looking at close to a foot to a foot and a half, but elsewhere it sort of drops off strongly, especially in the Wood River Basin. But even some pretty good snow in the Bear River Range and then in the northeast corner. Here are the high temperatures for today. You can see even Rexburg will see temperatures above freezing. Du Bois and Ashton also above freezing. Even Island Park should get to 33. Stanley above freezing. And overnight lows, as things start to clear out, especially over the Central Idaho Mountains, you can see how the temperatures drop. Stanley down to 10 degrees after some very mild nights lately. All right, here is Sunday. Sunday morning, you can see the storm is moving through Wyoming now, leaving in its wake colder temperatures and nearly all snow. Although I will say, and there's not a whole lot of chance for some rain down here in the Snake River Valley or snow as that goes. And we'll see how it goes. So here's Sunday morning, so 6 a.m. to noon. You can see it's really light snow in the aftermath of the storm that we have today and tonight. And Sunday afternoon, it continues. And Sunday evening, it continues light, with the exception of the Bear River Range. And as that storm starts to move through northern Utah, you can see how the snow starts to increase in places like above Oakley and the Albion Mountains and over here in the Bear River Range. And it intensifies after midnight, and that's why the winter storm watch is in effect for down there. Here are the winds on Sunday morning. You can see it's still breezy to windy in some of these locations, especially east of Idaho Falls and I-15. Continues into Sunday afternoon. And finally, this will be our last wind graphic of this briefing because the winds die down. Gusts pretty much staying at 25 miles an hour under for most locations, like 90% of the area, and some even below 10 when it's the further south you get. And so the winds should finally die down Sunday evening for everybody. Here are the high temperatures. You can see it's a little bit cooler by about 3 to 5 degrees. And low temperatures on Monday morning. You can see we're starting to get below zero temperatures returning to the Copper Basin, and single digits to Stanley now, and Pocatello once again getting below freezing. All right, here's a 24-hour snow total for Sunday and Sunday night. You can see how much less it is. Less than an inch anywhere here in the Snake River Plain or Eastern Magic Valley. And you can see, except for the Bear River Range, fairly light snow for most locations, for mountains anyway, in areas south of the Snake River. And pretty light. 2 to 3 inches in Stanley is nothing for them for most of the winter, even though it is going to be April 1st. But light snow all over the Central Idaho Mountains. All right, finally on Monday, you can see this low moving through northern Utah. It's moving very slowly, and so the snow will continue, especially down there. So let's see how it evolves. We only have a couple of slides for the 6-hour snowfall. Here's Monday morning, where the snow does continue, as you can see, but a lot of places are getting nothing. The high temperatures on Monday, you can see it's turning colder. No one's getting to 40 degrees anymore. And then Monday night, overnight lows, we have clouds moving in and spreading over, and so we're a little bit warmer in the south. Still kind of cold in the northern half of our forecast area. Here's the 24-hour snow for Monday and Monday night. And you can see, because of that low moving through Utah, that the focus of precipitation for us will be in areas south of the Snake River. That's all I have. If you have any further questions, you can contact us at this telephone number here. Check out the weather yourself at weather.gov/Pocatello. Thanks for watching.